Hello, welcome to AGRC 213, Word Module 3. This quick video will take you through some of the key concepts that are going to be discussed starting on page WD 121 of your text and going through the few examples here. This section is meant to teach you how to create a business letterhead and insert a table in it. And up on the screen I've got an example of some letterhead that we made. And actually, if you see up at the top of the screen where it says Kaskaskia College Agriculture Program, we've actually put that in the header so that that comes up every single time. That's an image that we created here some time ago and used quite a bit for some of our official correspondence and so forth. Maybe for example, if I write a letter of recommendation, then whenever I pull this file up, that letterhead will already be there, and I don't have to worry about inserting it every time. It's kind of a natural file that we save, and it's constantly embedded there in the header. If we went on to additional pages, then that header is obviously, that image is going to appear on every page if I set it to be that way. But most of the time, in some of your letterhead applications, is usually going to be a one-page format. In addition to this section here, you're going to learn how to create something like that, and so your textbook takes you through inserting some shapes and so forth. So if you click on the Insert tab and then the Illustrations Gallery, it's going to have you select creating a box or a rectangle box. And so if you click that, then you're going to get this four-way pointer on your mouse, and we're just going to draw ourselves a box in there. And it naturally comes up just like that by default. And we're going to go ahead and change the shape fill, and I think in your assignment it's going to give you a different color. Let's change ours to gray just for the sake of argument here. And so already we've got a shape. We've drawn ourselves a box. It's got a blue outline on it. And so that's going to be the beginning of, let's say, an example letterhead that you may create. In addition, I've dumped in a picture of an awesome black and white Holstein calf here that we're going to use to create an image on either end of our letterhead. And obviously it's too big to fit right over the top of that box that we just created. So all you do is grab the bar there at the top right hand corner of the picture and begin to shrink it down to a size that you can work with. In addition, you've got this button right here that gives you some layout options. And if you click on that Pictures, Tools, and Layout Options, then you can do a lot of different things with this particular picture. You can set it behind the text, you can set it to lay within the text height, you can set it to lay in front of the text. So basically, let's pick that one right there, and that means we'll be able to pick up the picture and drag it and move it wherever we like. And remember, I said we'd like to stick this at the very edge of that particular bar right there, so we're going to move it up and try and drop it basically right on top of that bar. So that's going to be the end of our letterhead right there, just for a quick example, and not necessarily maybe the greatest one, but shows you how that your shape box is going to appear. You're going to use an apple, which that file is already attached in this particular assignment on Blackboard. So you're going to create a background box just like this, fill it with a different color, and then drop the picture of the apple in as it suggests. In addition, in this section, it has you add some border, which is fairly simple. Just like this border that's around this box right here, we could also add page border. If you want to go borders and shading down here in the paragraph gallery, we could add borders and shading, and we could come up with a border that we would like to go around the entire document. Maybe not the look that you're after. There's that one just particular out of those paragraphs, but probably not an application necessary for most letterheads, but just to show you what that looks like. In addition, it's going to show you how to insert a table. So let's go through how to do that right here. If you click on the Insert tab and then the Tables Gallery, all you have to do is click the down arrow there, and then the selector allows you to select any number of table combinations that are most common. So we're just going to select, let's say we're just going to do a 2x4 table. And let's just, for example, think that we were tracking the sale price of some cows that we sold recently, and so I'm just going to throw some cow names in there and a sale price that maybe we were successful enough to sell them for, and give you some example here on how to then calculate that. So obviously if we put those together, we could come up with a total right here, and if we wanted to reflect that in a table, you could then obviously manually add these up, or we could come up here to the tables layout tool, and over here on the far right on the data, you can select this formula box, and it will naturally come up with this formula and treat it just like an Excel spreadsheet file, and then we could throw that in there and it will automatically add those up, and we can come in and format that to look like dollar signs, just to give you an idea what that may look like. In addition, in this section, it's going to have you do a number of different things in terms of setting tab stops, inserting a current date. That's also not hard to do. You can insert, click on the Insert tab and click Date and Time. I do this a lot whenever I'm writing letters that I want renewable dates on, so it will automatically come up by the date listed on the computer every single time. And so you can insert just quickly that so you don't have to type it out. This section is also is going to have you address and print an envelope. That is not something that I'm going to have you do in this section. I obviously do not want you to print anything. You're not going to turn that in very well on the computer anyway, so you may skip that particular section. So that's just a quick wrap up on the highlights of this particular section of Word Module 3 in our course. It's going to take you through setting up a letterhead, creating and using some of the different tools in terms of doing some of your own formatting, maybe inserting a shape as we did here, inserting a picture and then reformatting it to move around the screen as we did here, or inserting a table and doing some formatting as we did here. So as always, if you have any questions, you're welcome to stop by my office during office hour time or come by and see us in class. Thanks for listening in, and hopefully this has proved to be a helpful video on some of the key features on Word Module 3.